to present the Harry Christie Conservationist of the Year Award to Greg Harrison.
All right.
And the bullet points are G-R-E-G, so it referred his first name. And I will say that my research lab, that has about 20 students in it, we've all been out in the field with Greg, helped last night in making these statements for you. So they're not all quite me, but they're all quite good. So G stands for Great Volunteer. Okay, Greg is a volunteer's volunteer. He puts so much time and energy, and you all have seen this, into conservation and restoration around the state of Florida. Most of my research is in Whiskey Lagoon and the Indian River Lagoon, and we couldn't do our work without Greg. But in addition to just being one of those wonderful volunteers in the field, Greg recruits volunteers, he helps find funding for projects, which is unheard of, and he can be smiling at 6 a.m. in the morning when I've decided that was a really smart starting time. It's not. I can also say that Greg has the best boat in the entire world because it is like 100 years old. It's a giant pontoon boat, and he doesn't care if it gets scratched, dinged, or dirty. Which is really good when you're moving thousands of pounds of restoration material and thousands of pounds of people to sites all around the Indian River Lagoon. Greg, though, is notorious, if you've ever been out with us, for overloading the boat. And Greg doesn't know it, but while he's overloading the boat, I have students actually taking stuff off the boat. So that it won't actually sink to the bottom while we're trying to do our restoration. So that was G. R is resourceful. One of the big problems we have with doing field work is things always break when you're out in the field, and you guys all know that from fishing. And one of the things that breaks the most are people's shoes. So most people wear old sneakers or old boots or something, and the salt water makes the bottom of the sole come off. So Greg is the first one on the scene whenever anybody starts crying, and cable ties their shoes back onto their feet so they can keep working. There's also one incident where Greg's pants or shorts split in the back where his butt is, and somehow he took them off, cable tied them together, and put them back on before anybody noticed. Well, he thinks nobody noticed. E stands for either extremely dirty or extremely sweaty, whichever way you want to go. And that may sound like a negative, but it really means that Greg works really, really hard whenever he's helping anybody with any project. So whether it's pickaxing or digging holes for mangroves or mixing cement, Greg is always the dirtiest, sweatiest person out there. And one of my students wanted to make sure I added that when Greg pickaxes, he also growls. And I stay away from Greg when he's pickaxing because he kind of scares me. But I have no doubt when Emma said that he growls to get like his inner energy going, that he probably does. Then finally, the second G for Greg is gregarious. And if you think about it, the first four letters of gregarious is actually Greg. So honestly, Greg, everyone loves Greg, and Greg loves everyone. That's another just sign of what a wonderful person he is. He makes everybody feel welcome. He makes them feel valued when they come to help, however they're helping. With students, he's interested in their research, he's interested in their success. And with CCA volunteers, he can talk fluent fishing and hunting, okay, which is something that I just can't do that. So I really need Greg around as much as possible when we're doing restoration. And Greg's also famous for always having CCA swag, which we thank you all very much for, especially hats when it's hot outside. He brings food. And one thing that you might not realize is important, but most of the students I work with at UCF only probably about 15% of them have ever been on a boat before. So you all are really fortunate. Most of you have boats, and that's your way of life. But for a lot of people, it's their first time on a boat, and Greg at the helm, and Greg spends a good amount of time making sure everybody knows how to do basic boat skills. So that is a transformative kind of lesson there. So Greg is a wonderful person. So on behalf of CCA Florida, we are proud to recognize Greg not only with the Carrie Kresge Conservationist of the Year Award, but also with an upgrade to a legacy membership, the highest level of membership for gratitude for his many years of service in conservation community and the environment. We do have the award. All right, so congratulations, Greg.
Thanks, everybody.